What's up, guys? How's it going? Night Edge here again. Doing another little short review of the Spyderco Knives Native 5 Lightweight. This is actually one that I bought a while back. Maybe, I don't know. It was right after the release of it. I got it pretty shortly after. It's part of the Salt series, so their famous thing with Spyderco with the Salt series is it's supposed to be waterproof. So you're supposed to be able to, bring it to the beach, bring it fishing, whatever, and it resists corrosion, resists salt. Essentially. There's been a lot of testing done with Spyderco's other steel LC200N that's also in the Salt series, and I believe they also have H1 and H2 in the Salt series. MagnaCut is a pretty well around balanced steel, one of the better steels as of late for a good overall balance with edge retention, corrosion resistance, and toughness. So yeah, I guess it made sense for them to add the MagnaCut to the line. It's a pretty corrosive resistant steel, and it holds an edge pretty decently, I found. I've sharpened it one time. I used it a good little bit, even with the factory edge on it, and it still held up pretty good. And I thought, I put this edge on it, and I've used it quite a few times with this edge on it. And see, it's kind of starting to taper off there. We got a little bit of a double bevel forming, which is not good. But whenever I sharpen it again, I'm gonna reprofile it to a 17-degree angle, and it's gonna be super slicey. It's already really slicey, and even for not having the best not grind, but the best bevel from the factory, it still held an edge pretty darn good. But this review is not about my sharpening or Spyderco's factory sharpening. It's about the knife. So go ahead and get into it. Yeah, this thing's reflecting really bad with the camera. So I don't know how to set it to where it won't just shine into the camera terribly. But at an angle it won't. I don't know. Alright. So compared to Spyderco Paramilitary 2, the Native 5 is a lot smaller than the 2. Than the Paramilitary 2. Ergonomic lines are a little different than the Paramilitary 2, and it doesn't have that distinctive hump like the Para series has. Here's also a, let's see if I can find it. Nope. Para 3. Spyderco Para 3, lightweight. So right around the same size, cutting edge as the Para 3. Kind of more along the lines of the size of this knife than the Paramilitary 2. Do some other size comparisons. Here is Ontario Rat Model 1. So you can tell it's a lot smaller than the Rat 1, a lot less cutting edge than the Rat 1. Go ahead and get another one out here. Doug Ritter Hogue RSK MK1. A lot bigger for the Native 5 lightweight. You can tell the MK1 is more along the lines of a full-size knife than this one. It's more along the size of the Hogue Deca. Hogue Deca's actually got it beat with cutting edge by, looks like a substantial amount, about half an inch, a little more maybe than half an inch. So it's a smaller knife. It's not like a baby banner or anything like that, but I would say it's a pretty compact little knife. Go ahead and pull a measurement on it. Sitting right at, from the tip of the blade all the way to the end of the handle, you're sitting just under 7 inches. Where I got right here, about 6 7/8 overall length. Cutting edge or blade. Go ahead and do blade first. Blade length, total blade length, 3 1/4. Cutting edge, you're sitting right at 2.5. Right at 2.5, maybe a touch over 2.5 right there. And that's thanks to this super generous finger choil that's made into the blade itself there. And get the calibers out, make sure I zero them. The blade stock thickness, thickest part of the spine, sitting right at 122 thousandths. I'm gonna go by the thickest part. Thickest part, yeah, he's sitting, I don't know. Do it one more spot here. 116 thousandths. Not really that thick. Belly, below the apex, below the bevel right here. Make sure I'm getting it below the bevel. We're sitting it right at 26 thousandths there. More towards the tip, you're sitting right at 26 thousandths. Right there, you're sitting at 29 to 30 thousandths all the way back. Sitting right at 31 thousandths. Not super thin, but pretty decently thin, I would say. It's a good little slicer. Definitely a good little slicer. I'd say it's a full flat grind, but it's got this weird little swedge up top, which doesn't bother me. I mean, I think it adds a little bit of character to the knife itself, which is kind of well needed with a lot of Spydercos. A lot of people say they're ugly and they all look the same, but a lot of those people have also never held one in hand. You know, Spyderco is all about the ergonomics and the cutting performance. So you can kind of see that little swedge right there. These are aftermarket scales. Applied Weapons Technology, actually. I bought these scales from them. Great scales. They really changed the entire aesthetic of the knife, essentially, for me. And bear with me here. I'm digging around, trying to see if I can find the original scales that came with it. Which I know I got them somewhere here. Native 5 salt. Also aftermarket pocket clip that I got on there. Lynch Northwest. That's the aftermarket clip. It's actually like an industrial oil sheen, which is pretty good looking, I think. Deep carry. Beats the heck out of the Spyderco stock clip, which I kept. But River's Edge Cutlery, it's where I got the knife at. I linked it down below. I don't think it's available right now. And let's see if I can find them. Man, maybe I put them somewhere else. Oh no, they're not in there. I'm gonna show you guys the bright yellow scales that come with it. If anybody's still watching, can't seem to locate them. Well, it's really weird. I got my other scales I've taken off my other Spydercos sitting right here. I don't know. They've got a FRN scale color that comes with it. I don't know if they're thinner or thicker than the Applied Weapons Technology, but it's FRN. It's the same kind of material as this. Maybe the texture is a little bit different, but about the same pattern and everything as this Para 3 lightweight. But it's a bright yellow, which kind of helps if you're in like an aquatic environment, or you know, if you're wading in water, or if you're around a lot of greenery or something, you drop it, it's going to be a lot easier to see. I don't really do a lot of that, you know, with my knives. I don't really do a lot of that, period. So, you know, I kind of wanted the knife to look more, I don't know, upscale, kind of everyday friendly. And the Applied Weapons Technology aluminum scales really helped it out a lot. It feels great. A lot more heft to it. You know, it's full on closed in the back, which is great for avoiding getting crud and stuff in there. But yeah, that's long way around to say that it's not going to do me any good to, you know, measure the scales, because that's not what comes stock with it whenever you go buy one. But I'll do it anyway in case anybody actually wants to see that. 0.45 of an inch. Not really bad at all, I don't think. You know, anything under half an inch is usually pretty good, unless you got like some kind of weird little teeny tiny super thin knife or something. But you know, feels substantial in the hand, feels really great grip. So let's go ahead and we did that. I'll get out the scale. And a lot of these dimensions, like I said, on knives that I'm customizing, or, you know, that I replace the scales, the clip on, you can't go by measurements and weights and stuff because it's going to be a little different. The aluminum definitely is heavier than FRN, but it's not as heavy as titanium. If I had to guess, I don't have to. I got a scale waiting on me right here. But if I had to guess, this thing would probably be sitting, I don't know, right at about 2.83, about 3 ounces, I'd say, maybe. Yeah, that's crazy. It's about the only time I've ever nailed it. Yeah, 3 ounces. Huh. Well, I mean, damn. But yeah, the aluminum scales add a little bit of weight to it, but not as much as like if you swapped a titanium scale or something like that. Go ahead and get the old blue jeans out. Again, this is an aftermarket clip, so it's not going to demonstrate the actual way that the knife carries when you buy it. It's just going to demonstrate how it carries with a Lynch Northwest deep carry clip, which is excellent. Lynch Northwest clips, they just work, you know, disappears into the pocket. Completely disappears. It's great. Put the blue jeans up there. All right. Do a hardware check. Now, I did a disassembly video of this knife where I took it apart and take the yellow scales off. If you guys want to go see the original FRN scales, I did a scale swap video where I put these Applied Weapons Technology scales on there. So I should know this, but I forgot. Pivot's a T8. Body screws. Pivot and body screws are all T8. That's great. You don't have to keep swapping back and forth. I think the pocket clip screws are T6s though, which isn't really that much of a deal. Yeah, T6 on the pocket clip, T8. So to me, it was the scale swap video I did. It's the first time I've ever taken apart a Native 5 lightweight, and the first time I did it was, you know, on camera. Excuse me, been a little bit under the weather, but yeah, the scale swap video, I was a little nervous going into it, but it turned out fine to me. And it went really well. Went back together well, no problems. The only I wish they changed, you know, that of course, to a captive pivot, so I wouldn't have to have a driver here and here to, you know, whenever you're disassembling it. But other than that, it was pretty easy to take apart, put back together. I can't think of any other specs or anything on this knife. The knife itself is great ergonomically, wonderful knife to carry. Kind of disappears in your pocket, really, at work when you got it in your pocket, especially with, you know, even though these scales add a little bit of heft to it, they're smoother than that FRN that comes with them, which I really like that. And, you know, another thing that I love about this is that, you know, fully closed in back kind of keeps a lot of trash, pocket lint, dirt, debris, stuff like that out of there. The blade shape's awesome for cutting EDC. Jimping going around, you know, you got jimping for where your finger goes right there. You got jimping up top for where your thumb goes when you're cutting. I think the original FRN scales were contoured. These Applied Weapons Technology scales definitely are. They're very comfortable. They've got a multitude of different color options and stuff. If you guys want to go check them out, I'm going to actually put Lynch Northwest and Lynch Northwest pocket clips. Get a good look at that. And also the Applied Weapons Technology scales website in the description, and River's Edge Cutlery, where I got the knife at, will be in the description down below. Kind of a close-up on it. A lot of times, this is a back lock, which is you know, it's fine. I mean, it's a strong, good, stout locking system. You know, it's not going to win any prizes for fidget factor. You know, ease of manipulation isn't quite as easy as a compression lock or button lock or something, but surprisingly, the action on it is not that bad for, you know, usually back locks are just almost like the walk and talk on a slip joint when you're closing them. They're kind of stiff. But I actually can sometimes reverse flick this, which is weird for a back lock, you know, and it's got no blade left and right. I put it back together. The centering's dead on, perfect, you know. But yeah, I can you know, using a little wrist, I can strongly actually get a good reverse flick on this most of the time, which is impressive. The ergonomics on this thing is what really stands out to me, as it does for most Spyderco knives. But I'd say overall the most impressive factor of this knife is the ergonomics. You know, it's choked up right here when you're, you know, if you can almost, or me with my average hands, I guess large, whatever you want to call them, large gloves is what I wear. I'd say an average size hand. This is choked back, so my pinky's kind of about falling off right there. But whenever I move up into the fully choked up position, that's where it's comfortable at, right there, and it fits like a glove. I mean, this thing's going nowhere, you know, and it is very, very slicey. You can cut and cut and cut with this Magna Cut that they've got, and you don't have to worry about it corroding. You know, if you live in Southeast Louisiana like I do, or you know, Florida or somewhere where there's a lot of heat and humidity, or work in a marine environment or something like that, you don't have to worry about the corrosion, not nearly as much with the Salt series. But ergonomically, like I said, that's where this thing shines. I would give this overall probably about a 93 on my list of 0 to 100. You know, score will be about a 93, 90. I'm going with a 93 on this. You know, the pivot not being captive, you know, that could be better. I had to go by the original when I'm, you know, if I'm scoring a knife, I had to go by the original scales and clip, which the original clip wasn't that great. And the original scales are, you know, they're not terrible, but they're just the FRN. So that you know, is something that obviously I upgraded and changed, and I'm very happy with. It's a great platform for doing some, you know, customizations. But anyway, that's it. That's the Spyderco made in USA. Also, first leg of the USA leg of the Spyderco knife tour. But that's it. Golden, Colorado, USA Earth is where these are made, and that's where Spyderco's headquartered. And this will be the first part of the USA made Spyderco's, which is my last leg of the Spyderco World Tour. Probably should put that at the beginning of the video, but I didn't. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to have links down below. Like I said, the knife probably isn't available right now, but it periodically comes in and out of availability. I'm going to link River's Edge Cutlery. It's where I got it, down below. And Applied Weapons Technology and the Lynch Northwest pocket clip. So, I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, hit the like button if you liked the video. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. And keep watching, because I'll have more content coming. And thank you guys. I'll see you on the next one.